Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending Parents Cyber Night 3. My name is Rani Agrawal, and I am the Response to Intervention Coordinator and English Language Arts Interventionist at Orchard Valley Middle School. Presenting here with me is Joe Downey. He is the English Language Arts Interventionist at Bunker Hill Middle School and Chestnut Ridge Middle School.
Good evening.
Today we will be presenting College and Career English Language Arts Literacy. Our presentation will begin with an introduction to college and career readiness. Then it will break into specific reading and writing segments, followed by resources, references, and a question and answer segment. During the question and answer segment, you will be able to ask the presenters questions. Remember to text the word Orchard Valley without the Y, 127 to 37607 to join the session. Before we break into the question and answer session, I will have this information available again for you to see. So, what does it mean to be college and career ready? According to Achieve.com, college and career readiness means that a high school graduate has the knowledge and skills in English and mathematics necessary to succeed in entry-level, credit-bearing post-secondary coursework without the need for remediation. This basically means that students should leave high school prepared to take on the demands of college. In fact, Paul T. Corrigan stresses that college and career readiness is essential for success. He explains that college education has become even more rigorous in order to prepare students for the workforce. According to Paul, the amount of new technical information is doubling every 2 years for students starting a 4-year technical college degree. This means that half of what they learn in their first year of study will be outdated by their 3rd year. We certainly face a challenging situation. The top 10 in-demand jobs in 2010 did not exist in 2004. In fact, Carl Fish and Scott McLeod created a video that went viral on YouTube about technological progress around the world. And if you get a free minute, take your time to take a look at this video. It is on the Agrawal teacher page, and we will give you information on how to access the Agrawal teacher page at the end of this presentation. According to Jason Perez, author of The Importance of Career Readiness in Our Classrooms, basic curriculum knowledge is no longer enough to prepare our future leaders for the global market that exists. There must be a stronger emphasis on the part of schools, districts, and states to align curriculum with career readiness standards. And this is exactly what our state of New Jersey has done. Schools in New Jersey follow the Common Core state standards. These standards guide our curriculum and take into account college and career readiness. According to the writers of the Common Core state standards, students who are college and career ready demonstrate independence, build strong content knowledge, respond to the varying demands of audience, task, purpose, and discipline. They comprehend as well as critique, value evidence, use technology and digital media strategically and capably, and understand other perspectives and cultures. Here is an image of the Common Core State Standards website. As you can see, the college and career readiness standards are embedded into the website. If you look at the green arrow, this is pointing in that direction. Here are just a few more important highlights. The schools in New Jersey are preparing for college and career readiness through the Common Core State Standards. It is true that later on this year, the New Jersey Department of Education will adopt even higher academic standards for ELA and math, and more information is to come. You can log on to the state.nj.us website for more information. The Common Core State Standards are learning goals. They determine what students should know and be able to do at each grade level. And they focus on developing the critical thinking, problem solving, and analytical skills students will need to be successful. Important CCSS information that's specifically geared for parents can be found on the link below at http://tinyurl.com. And the actual standards themselves can be found on the link below this one. With regards to reading skills, the standards target the following, among many others: text evidence, inference, theme, plot, point of view, context clues, summary, claims, drawing conclusions, central idea, figurative language, compare and contrast, connotative meanings, author's purpose. Lessons and activities for these skills can be found on the Agrawal teacher page, and the link for the Agrawal teacher page is below. You can record it. Towards the end of the presentation, we will give you more time to record the links. There are many things that parents can do to help their children excel in reading. As mentioned earlier, visit your child's teacher pages. Many teachers have posted activities and skills on their school pages. Another resource is Study Island. Study Island is a web-based program that helps students master all the skills mentioned earlier. Students complete lessons and short activities. The best thing about it is that students can do this from home. The web address for Study Island is simply www.studyisland.com. The username for your child is the first initial last name at OVMS, or if the student is at Chestnut Ridge, it would be first initial last name at CRMS, and BHMS for Bunker Hill. And the password is the same for all three schools, the lunch ID. Another idea for things to do with your children is to have them read for fun. According to Dr. Alice Sullivan, a study of 17,000 people from birth indicates that reading for pleasure improves not just literacy, but math ability too. The study pointed that those who frequently read books at age 10 and more than once a week when they were 16 had higher test results than those who read less. In fact, the impact of reading for pleasure was around 4 times greater than that of having a parent with a post-secondary degree. There are many things that you can do to monitor your child's bookshelf. There's a program called Accelerated Reader Home Connect that monitors the books that your child has read at school, as long as the child has taken a quiz for that. Those books are available in a bookshelf format for you to see. The way to access Accelerated Reader Home Connect again would be through my website, which is located below at the access link at http. And the username is the same as what the child uses to log on to Accelerated Reader at school. First initial, last name, and the password is their lunch ID. Another way to assist children with reading books and selecting books is by using a website called AR Book Find. AR Book Find shows the level that books are on. For example, a book level or BL of 7 means that that particular book is on the 7th grade reading level. All parents must do is type in the title of the book and find the actual book, and information regarding the level is immediately shown. It's a great resource to select books. And the link is www.arbookfind.com. At this time, I'd like to give the presentation over to Joe Downey, who will talk about writing.
Good evening, parents and faculty members and colleagues that are out there joining us. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Ronnie did a very nice job of explaining the importance of college and career readiness when it comes to reading. For this portion of our presentation, I'll be focusing on the writing aspect. So to intro, why is writing important? There are a few reasons why. First, writing is practical. Writing is an important form of communication. Writing can be an important element of an employee's job. Writing is an important element in a student's education. And writing can be an important outlet, especially for our students in the middle school. A great quote from Lucy Calkins is, "It has become increasingly clear that children's success in many disciplines is reliant on their ability to write." As we begin to think about college and career readiness for our students, it is important that our students have the foundational skills in writing to be successful. Many students, when they first go to college, are given a mandatory writing class where the skills of middle school and high school need to be able to translate. In the workplace, our students will eventually be asked to communicate with others, whether it is sending emails, whether it is writing a letter for their employer, or even a resume. These are all things that we build up throughout the middle school and high school when we follow the career and college readiness model. So there are 3 types of writing that take place in the school, specifically getting our students ready for career and college readiness. Okay, and these are narrative writing, informative or explanatory writing, and argument or opinion writing. And I'm going to give a brief overview of each, followed by an example. Narrative writing. So the anchor standard for narrative writing states that students will write narratives to develop real or imagined experiences or events using effective technique, well-chosen details, and well-structured event sequences. Students will convey a real or an imaginary experience, and many times these can include a fictional story, a memoir, a personal narrative or story, and a biography or autobiography. Many of these texts are found in our students' curriculum, so they are constantly reading good forms and good pieces of literature that convey these narrative writings. It is our goal to make sure our students can master the tone and understand the audience they are writing for by the time they leave middle school and high school. The following is an example of a grade 6 narrative writing, and this is an excerpt. In the beginning, the student here sets the background. They also add some dialogue. "I was sitting at a park bench when I saw the endless black heading toward me. 'Mom, look,' I screamed. My mom turned around and faced me." This is the typical beginning of a narrative writing piece. This could be a true story or a fictional story made up by the student, but characters, dialogue, and setting are all important parts of narrative writing. In regards to informative and explanatory writing, the anchor standard states that our students will be able to write informative or explanatory text to examine and convey complex ideas and information clearly and accurately through the effective selection, organization, and analysis of content. Our students will increase the knowledge of a subject, understand a procedure, or enhance comprehension of a subject or concept. They will draw from what they know from primary and secondary sources. Often, this will come in the form of a scientific or historical report, summaries, instructions, manuals, memos, and reports. Now, this type of writing will occur in many places in the workforce as well as college. When it comes to primary documents and secondary sources, students will be needing to know how to identify, analyze, and then write about each type of source. Students will need to inform their writer, and you'll see an example of this momentarily. This is another example of a student's writing from grade 6, and this is an informational writing piece. The saguaro cactus is a huge cactus that lives in the desert. It can live up to 150 years old. Even though it grows very, very slowly, it grows up to be one of the tallest plants in the desert. The saguaro cactus is very adapted to desert life, and this makes it a good home and food for many animals. The student uses facts to back up evidence and describe the saguaro cactus. And again, this is just a brief example of how informational writing is used at the middle school level, and it varies throughout grade level. Last piece of writing or form of writing that I want to put emphasis on is argument or opinion writing. The anchor standard for this type of writing is that students will write arguments to support claims in an analysis of substantive topics or texts using valid reasoning and relevant and sufficient evidence. So just like the name sounds, students are going to argue whether for something or against something. This is typically the persuasive type of writing. Students will write about a concept, issue, or problem that is presented with an argument or an opinion. Students will write to change the point of view, bring about an action, or accept the explanation of a concept, issue, or problem. And students will evaluate literary work and defend their judgments with evidence from the text. Again, this is another real-world type of writing. Students may be faced with a job where they need to persuade someone to buy a product. They may need to persuade someone to make a decision. And in K through 12, we are really preparing our students for career and college writing this way. Okay. This is an example from a 7th grade student for argumentative writing. And their focus was whether or not students that were illegal immigrants should be given tuition. And the student, you'll see, makes very valid points throughout their writing in favor of this decision. Now, what can we do to get our students writing more effectively? To begin, the writing process all starts with the planning process. In front of you, you'll see 2 great ways to make sure that your student is planning effectively and using their time effectively. The first is brainstorming. This is usually the beginning of the process. This gives students a chance to jot down their ideas and any concepts they have before beginning writing. On the right-hand side, you'll see graphic organizers. These are one of the best resources to use for planning ideas during the writing process. When students use graphic organizers, it helps their students stay organized and plan their ideas, and they are very visual, so students can see the ideas on paper. Below, there's a tiny URL which you can click that will offer you many graphic organizers that are good approaches for any writing assignment. Not only is it important to plan, but when we talk about our responses to text in the writing process, we want to make sure that we're writing strong responses. The RACE strategy is something that can really help our students effectively answer most writing prompts. And when we refer to RACE, we talk about restating the question, answering all parts of the question, citing evidence from the text, and explaining or extending your answer. Now, students can use this strategy for a narrative. They can use this strategy when informing, the audience, and they can use this strategy for an argumentative piece or an opinion piece. And below, I just added a little writing tip. Many writing teachers that I speak to, they say that many students use too many pronouns in their writing. So it's important to be very specific when talking about a subject. Now, the following are 5 ways that you can positively and effectively give feedback to your students. The first is, tell how the writing made you feel. Many times our students look for that feedback from an adult to almost justify the writing that they're doing. So giving some positive feedback by your own feelings will really encourage your child. Being encouraging, again, be positive, pick out the things that your student did well, okay? Asking a question. Ask your student maybe what prompted the writing piece, or how did the student come up with this information? This is another great strategy that shows that you are connected to your student's writing. And speaking of connections, making a personal connection to the topic as well can help build on your student's writing. And finally, tell your student what you noticed about the writing. Did they do something very well? Did they use very descriptive words? Were they very strong in their argument, or did they persuade you when you read their piece? These are all great tips that can help you when you're commenting on your student's writing. When we talk about the writing process and what goes into writing, we talk about building writing stamina. And again, process and progress come from writing daily. When we think of writing, I think of it almost as an exercise where we need to really build our students' writing stamina, and it goes hand in hand with reading. The more students read, the better readers they become, as well as the more students write, the better students become at writing. So some things that I would suggest that you can do at home are add writing to your family's daily routine and build it into the schedule. This will help your writer gain confidence in his or her writing. Create a space in your house or home for writing that is free from distractions. Encourage writing for a variety of purposes. Your child can make a shopping list, write a fictional story, or send a letter. And finally, use technology to improve writing. Encourage your child to send an email to a friend or publish an online story. These are all things that could be done at home, whether you have technology or you're just using paper and pencil. One cool thing that I've seen in the classroom is that students actually took up a persuasive or argumentative piece and they sent it into Nickelodeon, where they voiced their opinion on who was presenting the Nickelodeon Awards. And I thought this was a great way to practice argumentative writing, but use it for a real-world purpose. So again, think about what your student likes, and then focus on providing opportunities to write about their experiences. The following are links to myself and Ms. Agarwal's web pages, where you'll find many reading and writing resources. These are great for if you're at home and you want to check out some things that you can do with your student, or even if your student has any questions. These are very parent-friendly and student-friendly links.
Are they working on the presentation now?
Okay, so this is Ms. Agarwal's webpage, and if you go right here to Parent Cyber Night 3, you'll see many of the resources that we discussed, and even some new ones. So if you are at home, you can take this time if you would like to skim through. And again, all of these focus on our Common Core skills. So if we look down at summarizing, practice, using context clues, point of view, author's purpose, figurative language, these are all links that will help you and your student. Okay. And when we head over here, this is my page. You can go to Parent Resources, and over to Parents Night 3. Okay. And again, Here are some links that you can use at home to help you with some of the things we talked about. Now, one thing I didn't mention tonight was practice with root words, but this is a great way for vocabulary. Read, Write, Think. This is another great link for websites that offer writing support. Okay. Quill is a great tool to assess student writing and have them practice skills that they're learning in the classroom. And again, another page with graphic organizers. Okay. Okay. Here are references. And now we would like to open up this opportunity for parents at home or anyone watching to ask any questions and answers. We'll be using this from the poll everywhere. So we're going to take our time right now to look at any questions that you have asked.
And we just wanted to give you directions to type in your questions so that they arrive here. I will show you by leading you through my webpage how to access the directions. Bear with me for 1 minute. So from the Agrawal webpage, if you click on Parent Cyber Night 3, and if you follow my mouse and go to where it says to access online workshops, click here. That's where you need to click. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of this page and focus on the Language Arts Literacy section, you'll notice, 1 second, that the directions are right here. You're supposed to text the word orchard, VALLE 461 to 22333 to join the session, to actually make comments. And we are going to be awaiting your questions patiently. That's for math. We have.
We are now back and running. If you did not see the Hour of Code video, it is
The next one. I'll be on the phone anyway to this one. Where's that? I'm just going to display the messages. So if anyone's having trouble at home to figure out where to send us the messages, I'm just going to put that up here. Again, you're supposed to text the word Orchard Val 461 to 22333 to join the session and then text your answers. On the actual Google Hangout. And we hope that you're going through the links that we presented while you're looking for your questions, so we can use this time. We'll answer any questions about any resources that you have as well.
Okay, so our first question we have is, how do I access the Study Island website? And Ronnie, do you want to show?
Sure, definitely. Okay, to access Study Island, you will click on, in the Google address bar, you can type in www.studyisland.com, and it will take you directly to the website. And you would simply hit login. For schools, this would be for administrators, teachers, and students. And it will prompt you to log in. As I mentioned earlier, it's your first initial last name. So if it was John Doe, it's JDOE at the school. So if the child was at Orchard Valley, it would be at OVMS. And the password is simply the student's lunch ID. You would hit submit, and then you would be taken to activities and lessons for not only English language arts literacy, but also for math. Good question.
Okay, all right, so our next question says, Pam, thank you for watching from Bunker Hill. Awesome. Affiliates of Bunker Hill Sport. Is, what are some good ways, or how do I utilize the AR Book Find website? Okay, and I know this was discussed a little bit earlier in the presentation.
I'd love to answer this one. So good ways to utilize AR Book Find is first by selecting a novel. Let's say my child is interested in reading Hunger Games, and I want to search for the book level of Hunger Games. I will go to the website, AR Book Find, and go in. Let's say it's my child, so I'm the parent. I will put in parent. It doesn't really matter what you put in. You submit that. And in the quick search bar, you type in the title of the book, Hunger Games. And you press go. You find the Hunger Games that you're interested in, and it looks like the one I want came at the top. I see that it's by the author, Suzanne Collins, and the book level here shows up at 5.3, meaning that it's at a fifth grade, approximate fifth grade level. And while we're here, I just want to point out another interesting feature. It has an IL next to it, which means interest level, and it says that it's at a middle grades interest level. And I would do this for any book that I'm interested in learning more about. Good question. Oh, I'm getting another question about the Accelerated Reader Home Connect. Someone wants to know how to access Accelerated Home Connect to see the child's bookshelf. So I will take you again to my website. I have put everything that was discussed in this presentation underneath the Parent Cyber Night 3 link. And as you can see by scrolling down, Accelerated Reader Home Connect is right here. Once the screen appears, you would put the child's username, which is the first initial, first four letters of the last name. So I'll use my famous John Doe. And there's no @OVMS or anything. The password is simply the student's lunch ID. You will log in, and the screen will take you to all the books your child has read throughout the course of your child's career at school, given the child has taken an accelerated reader quiz. Thank you.
All right. It looks like this is one of the last questions, unless anyone else wants to poll in. And this one is about writing. How do I get my student to either try to write or submit? Are there any forums or blogs that you're aware of? One journal that I read called Teen Inc. is great for submitting original work, and every month that they publish and online, it's all written by adolescents, so between middle school, elementary school to high school. And this is a great way to see as a student what other students are producing, and for to see what type of work that your child can be doing. They do a lot of poetry, many fictional stories, and many non-fictional as well. So again, Teen Inc. is a great way as a parent to introduce your student to different types of writing.
We're going to keep the polls open and we're waiting for questions. And in the meantime, we're thinking everybody's participating by looking at different links. This one. No, wait. It's that one. Did you put it?